Hello, I'm in the Magnetic Resonance Research Center on the Tempe Campus at Arizona State University today, and I'm here with Dr. Brian Cherry, who's the manager of the MMRC. And what we're going to be doing is looking at the process of coming into the facility and getting a sample ready to run on the automated NMR system, or the process that would happen if you were submitting a sample remotely, and what a research assistant or what an assistant of Brian's would do to get a sample ready, information entered, and onto an automated NMR. Today we're looking at a Bruker 400 MHz NMR system. NMR being nuclear magnetic resonance, and what we're going to be doing is spectroscopy in this. So Brian, can you give me a handle on what we would do to, once we're in the facility now, what we would do to get a sample ready to have NMR run on a sample?
Okay, Jeff, the first thing you would do is enter information about the data for what you want to store this as. So give a sample name for your file.
So we're running Icon NMR is what it says at the top. So this is Bruker's software for automation?
Yes.
And the steps you go through to do this are to enter a sample name, and I assume you can enter any name you want? Right?
Yes.
Okay. The solvent is a drop-down menu, and it looks to have most common deuterated solvent. So you need to know what solvent you put your sample in, right? And then it's another drop-down menu for the experiments. And the experiments are either single experiments or composite experiments.
Correct.
And these are run in queues during both the day and evening, depending on?
Yes.
Okay. And so in this case, we're running kind of a standard sample. So I've entered a name. It's in DMSO, deuterated DMSO. And we're going to run what I would say is the most common NMR experiment, which is just a spinning 1D proton NMR.
Correct.
Right? Then the other thing that's unique to your facility is we have a cloud-based service where all of this is stored remotely called Spentropy. And so it asks for your Spentropy username. And so this is something you already have to have, right, registered and available. So if samples are sent remotely, they would need to have been registered on Spentropy.
Correct.
If these are samples for a class, they would need to have a Spentropy class name or of some sort. And then finally, there's a comment box where you can add stuff like that. So I've entered all this information for the sample I want to run today. And what I'd love for you to do is show me the process now that I have it entered in Icon NMR of what I need to do to get a sample ready to run on this automated system.
Well, the first thing is assuming that you've already prepped your sample in an NMR tube and appropriate solvent. Then you would take one of the blue spinners here on the counter and place it into the sample depth gauge.
So you usually have multiple of these because you can load up multiple samples?
Correct.
And so, and this is in a sense meant to get the sample to the correct height and everything, but it also shows you where the receiver coils are and stuff like that. So you have your turbine put in there, and then we take our sample here and put it into this, like that.
And what you're looking for is that it is touching the bottom, because the probe that we're going to set this into is not hollow. So it has the finite depth that it can go to, otherwise you'll damage the instrument or break your sample. The next thing you're looking for is where that black indicator marks, if you'd rotate a little bit, is the actual NMR coil that you're trying to center this around. And you're looking for now the symmetry between the level of the meniscus of your solvent and the bottom of the tube. That infinite cylinder needs to be in a place where you have that interface between the air and the liquid far away from the NMR detection coil. It helps optimize field distortions when we place our sample in there. So when that is set like that, you're now going to put that back onto the table, and now you're going to press in Icon the Q sample button. There's a big button, step 3, and once you press that button, Icon NMR will tell you the location in our automated system where you should place your sample. So now you're going to go and you're going to take the sample, carefully picking it up by the NMR tube itself, not the spinner, and take a chem wipe and carefully wipe off the portion of the sample that's going to go into the magnet down by the bottom. Like Jeff has there, that's good. That's to remove any residual things from your fingers or anything that came from the spinner itself and got on there. And now you're going to walk over and place this sample into the magnet.
So now we're ready to take this sample and put it into the automated system.
Correct.
And we do this before we do anything else on the console.
Correct.
Right? So before, and it's only after we've added this sample that then we would click on the odd here.
Otherwise, if there was nothing pending in the queue, it would automatically start running that experiment looking for it, but there's no sample in the spot. So you do that first.
Okay, perfect. So I think we're ready now to put this onto the automated system. Thanks, Brian, for helping us get this sample going, and I'm looking forward to figuring out how to get this onto the automatic system.